Peace, family. What up? My name is Brother Legend. If you're joining us on YouTube, welcome to my live. I do this almost every night on TikTok. Join us. Feel free. My TikTok is BIGBROLGND. Hit the notification bell in the top right corner of my profile to be notified when we going live. Also, feel free to subscribe, like, and share on my YouTube. The button is also on my profile. Welcome to the live, y'all. What's going on? See you down there. Thank you for the flowers. Super Hoshi. Everybody tap like as you enter the room. Let me know y'all are in here. What's going on? We just getting started today. Peace. What's good? Uncle Willie, appreciate you. I'm trying to turn my phone up. Okay. What's going on, y'all? We talking about hip hop music, how it benefits or doesn't the black community. You know, we always talking about our people. The man behind me is Lucian Grange. He has a net worth of $250 million. He makes Universal Music Group $48 billion with a B per year. He makes Universal Music Group $48 billion per year. Per year. That's a lot. Every year. How much you think? How much of that money you think Young Thug gets? How much money? How much of that money do you think Lil Wayne got? 40 billion. That's some industry market caps. Oh yeah, that don't come back to us. And you know, all the genres of the artists that are not even black were created by us. So interesting how none of that comes back to us. Appreciate y'all tapping like. Come on in. Because the thing is, yeah, they'll say like, oh, there's folk, there's country, there's bluegrass or something. And it's like, yeah, but all that was started by us. It should be generational wealth right there. 48 billion a year. That's a lot of generational wealth that should be coming back to our community. That's a lot. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Peace, y'all. Come on in. I'm wondering what's happening right now. I think they capped us at 50. I don't know. Can y'all see how many people in here? It's only showing 49. Usually it jumps up before anything. The banjo was a Caribbean. Oh wow, I didn't even know that. Peace, brother Jay. What's going on? I think he's talking about. I think you mean the first question. Is that a no to the first question? If so, I agree. Yeah, the banjo. That's wild. I mean, I know our ancestors was wicked on that thing though. They was nice on the banjo. The banjo and the washboard. That's what I'm saying. All that folk country-ish music like that, like pre-country, before it was called country, it was like just folk. Like that was our ancestors. So, you know what I'm saying? They was up in church singing like "Oh Mary." Like they wasn't moving their bodies or nothing. They wasn't grooving, they wasn't nothing. They was sitting stiff, removed from their humanity, trying to make it sound good. So, you know what I'm saying? Peace, family. What up, Seven? What's good, little gremlin? The only thing we made was square dancing. That's the peak of our rhythm. Yeah, line dancing was actually um, created by J. Edgar Hoover, to my knowledge. That's what I read. J. Edgar Hoover himself said that dancing on beat was was not demonic, but like lascivious. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, it was like, look at you, you nasty, you dirty, you know, dancing on beat ass, you know what I'm saying? So they came up with line dancing, you know, pretty crazy. But anyway, all music flows from African people across the diaspora. We was the first ones to have rhythm. We literally would play the drums and speak to each other. I don't know if y'all know this, but drumming is a language in Africa. That's why African language to this day are percussive. The way they speak, there's high notes and low. So they'll say words a certain way. I can't say any, but um, we could also drum in our language. Like the language would transfer to the drums. And they'd be able to play the drums. So drumming is deep in us, in our epigenetics, going back. 300,000 years of epigenetics, y'all. We got 300,000 years. Epigenetics is deep in us. And we still practice some of the same ways our ancestors did. We didn't turn into something else. We still doing the same things they did. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, don't even realize it. A lot of us don't even realize it. The first people who originated in Africa were definitely black by today's standards. There was no such thing as black at that time, but you can't survive in a jungle without having melanin. Let's think a little bit. Let's use our brain, right? So the first people had no fur, right? Like they evolved to not have fur all over their bodies, right? So these are people we're talking about. Or are y'all talking about your ancestors? You talking about the Neanderthals? If y'all talking about them, then yeah, you're right. But if we talking about people, that means they didn't have fur, right? So now they have fur. They don't have fur. I'm sorry. They no longer have fur. When you shave a dog, what color is his skin? When you shave a dog, you shave a pig, what color is their skin underneath the fur? Pink or white? Hmm. So if you're in a hot desert, what would the environment be? What would the environmental reason be for you to no longer have fur? That means you're hot, right? You're heating up. Our brains are developing, they're getting bigger, they can be overheated. So now we need to shed our fur. We adapted to the region in which humanity began. So now we have no fur, but we pink because we have like we're like a furless boar, a pig, domesticated pig. We have no nothing. Those people can't survive the sun. Before the fur would block out the sun. Now you have nothing. So you're telling me there was pink people walking around in what's now known as the Sahara Desert, the hottest parts of Africa. You're telling me that they was walking around with no fur and had pink skin? Stop playing with me, y'all. Gotta keep it real. Let's keep it real. It just takes a little bit of critical thinking. Just a little bit to not sound like a jackass. That's all you gotta do. Is just think a little bit. There's no way you walking around with no fur in the hot sun and you ain't got no pigment to block out the sun. It actually does more than block out the sun. It actually disperses sunlight. The sunlight hits your skin and it disperses the energy of the sun into your skin. It turns it into vitamin D and helps, right, helps you get nutrients. So it actually became a positive. But if the first people wasn't black, then your ass wouldn't be here. they would have all had skin cancer. What you think? Skin cancer is new? They would have all had melanoma. They'd have been gone in 2 decades. It just takes a little bit of thinking. And that's the thing about sci-fi movies I can't stand. It's like y'all got movies like what's the name of that movie? Prometheus. You got movies like Prometheus telling you that the original humans came from like the sky and came down to Earth and gave birth to humanity. And then you got people talking about ancient aliens and aliens built the pyramids. Then you got Scientology, which thinks we're like the spirits of aliens trapped in primate form. Like, y'all go every which way but to say that y'all came from one black woman hundreds of thousands of years ago. Y'all try to invent all these other narratives, and it's cute. For some reason, y'all rather believe we aliens. It's crazy to me. Little Gremlin, what's going on, sister?
Hey, it's Lil Mamas. I just changed my name. They
Yeah, I see.
appreciating Lil Mamas, but they'll
Uh-huh.
respect Lil Gremlin. So, I had to change
Yeah.
it. But no, I'm 23. I'm black and she, her. Um,
Appreciate you.
should black culture be shared? Since when have we ever had the option to share anything? I
Mm,
mean, honestly, if you think about it, we never even had the option to sit here and say, can we share or we're not going to share. It's always
mm,
been stolen. So, I mean, like we can't really answer that because we never had the option. Does hip hop benefit the black community? I'll say no. And I say no mainly due to all era of hip hop because, yes, like during Tupac's time, and all that, they're spreading the word of what we dealt with, and like spreading in what we had to experience, but it really wasn't helping the situation.
mm,
And like today's era, definitely not. Definitely not. Like Sexy Red, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. No, they're just degrading us. They're showing how to not have self love. They're degrading us, and it's
mm,
honestly sad. And I don't even listen to none of them. And then they come from my era, and I don't listen to none of them. I can't. I can't like
mm,
at all. It just makes me sad to sit there and think that you would have like lower your standards and lower your self love just to impress the white T man. That just makes me look. That just makes me sad. But
yeah.
no, that's how I feel about those. Cause a lot of people talking about, well, we gotta share. We got what is there to share when you just take it? We
Mm-hmm.
don't even
Mm-hmm.
have the option to sit here and say no or yes. You just take it. Like I was in your live yesterday, and the people coming to this plan with the YT people. Oh my lord, they were making me mad in the comment. They're like, well, we share our. What are you sharing? Like, what is YT culture for? What are you sharing within your culture to share with us to feel like we even had the option to share with you?
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
neither one, nobody in this panel was able to sit here and answer not a single one of them questions. And I'm so hoping somebody can come up with some type of answer if they come up here and say that. Like,
Word.
honestly. But no, that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to go too much on a rant because I know we could definitely go on a rant. But no, that was just my opinions.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. And appreciate y'all sending gifts. I just realized someone sent some hearts earlier. Appreciate you. Nah, that's facts, sister. That's a good way to start the live. Um, there hasn't been a point where we shared, to be honest. I guess, before the construct of race, there was sharing with Africans where we civilized Europe and taught Asian people how to be spiritual, you know. So, I mean, there's that. We civilized the whole world pretty much. Um, the original people of every civilization, um, aside from certain corners of the world, I would say every major civilization of the past millennium would be founded by Africans. Um, you don't know? Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yes, sir. And if it helps, I know my username. My name's Caleb. My race is white. I'm 28, and it's he, him.
Okay, talk to us.
Um, yes, sir. I appreciate you bringing me up. fan of the channel. I've learned a lot. Should Black culture be shared with non-Black people? I'd say no, especially because we take from it and we don't give anything back. Does hip hop benefit the Black community? I would say when you look at the origination in Brooklyn with a lot of the MCs that came up, it was an area where when there was a lot of divisiveness being driven from the systematic oppression of the Brooklyn ghettos and what they were doing there, like the MC and the hip hop movement was a lot about unity and how do you call it? Just peace and creativity expression. The challenge and what I think one of the big issues with hip hop these days is like you look at the head of the music industry and the powers that might be and the way that they control these things, the narratives that they push and the music that they put out. I just don't think it's a representative very well. I think at the end of the day, a lot of YT culture and YT influence moves things in a negative direction. I think that's my piece, I guess, before I rant too.
Well, that's real. You're gonna start a whole war talking about Brooklyn started hip hop, but you know everything else you said is on point. Somebody said he's not wrong. Laura, you must be from Brooklyn. The Bronx is always going to say they came up with hip hop. Shout out to the Bronx, man. Listen, we don't want no smoke with the Bronx. The Bronx is rough. I'm scared of Bronx people, so I'm scared of the Bronx. But nah, that's real. That's real. No clout. Give us your age, race, and pronouns. What up, G?
Hello, I'm 21, Black, he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yes, sir. So should Black culture be shared with non-Black people? I do not think so, just because we see throughout time that we start off with sharing, but then it becomes stolen in regards to, like, you could even see it with something like AAVE. It was even a trend on TikTok where, people were trying to say that AAVE is Black culture, but then you could see other people saying that, YT people saying that it's pop culture or Gen Z culture. And you could just see that, it starts off with sharing, but then it becomes, like, in my opinion, colonized, So that's how I feel about that one. Does hip hop benefit the Black community? I feel like it used to. But now I feel like it used to, because it used to push the Black movement, But now I don't feel like it does that as much. And in regards to, like, financially, are we really, like, benefiting from it financially?
He is.
And that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, it kind of makes it very difficult to be able to say that it really is benefiting our community.
And y'all should see how your favorite rappers act when he walks in the room. This is what I was saying. Like, Black men, they say, we perpetuate patriarchy, and we absolutely do, until the man walks in the room. We the man till the man walks in the room. Then we gotta get out his shoes, give it back to him. So,
No, 100%. And can I add something else?
mm-hmm.
I also feel like, let's just take out the financials of it, right? Let's just take out the economics of it, right? Like, as a
Oh, you muted yourself.
you muted yourself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, as a people, is it helping our mindset now? Like, is hip hop helping our mindset? Is it pushing us towards greater things? I feel like that's not talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's one thing that we have to recognize is, like, hip hop is, like, what is kind of, like, magnified within Western culture, right? And it kind of sets a precedent for, like, what kids deem to be, in my opinion, cool. Especially growing up, that's what, like, a lot of stuff that was inside hip hop culture, that's what was cool as a Black person, right? So, like, if you're perpetuating certain ideas that's not very beneficial to the Black community, then those are the same ideas that people will find cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of my input on it, and I do feel like, if there was a shift in at least the content, then it could be at least beneficial in some type of way. So
Yeah.
that's my
That's
input.
facts. Absolutely. Man, I got some good guests today, man. Very very good way to start off the live, man. Appreciate y'all. This guy behind me is Lucian Grange. He's the CEO of Universal Music Group. He his net worth is 250 million, and he brings in 48 billion dollars with a B, 48 billion dollars a year to Universal Music Group. So that's how much they making, and it's not just off hip hop alone, but it's definitely off genres that our ancestors created before hip hop and hip hop. So it includes all our music. So I'll go to the next guest. Appreciate you, no clout for giving us that word. Yang, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hello, I'm 21, black, and they, he, or he, him. I don't really mind.
All right, talk to us.
So, on to the first question. Should black culture be shared with non-black people? I feel no, because black culture isn't necessarily, I guess, ready to be shared. And what I mean by this is like the 80s and 90s spun up rappers who rapped about the actual economic systems nearby at that present time. And from there, we haven't really gotten far out. So just sharing what's not ready to be shared doesn't seem right.
That's real. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like it was Tupac and Biggie in the 90s talking about the police and the current home situation and back home. But now we have rappers who don't have anything in that regard to, talk about. So it's black culture not being ready for anyone's eyes, but it's also recognizing that there are actual facets causing black culture to be seen as constantly uplifting others, when in reality we could be better off. Damn it, I lost my train of thought.
It happens. But yeah.
I just don't understand, like, from here where black people as a community are supposed to go, as in towards music and other aspects of black American culture, because it just doesn't sound like it's ready. It really doesn't.
I feel like we always gonna make music. And I feel like, as far as it being popular, I wish that a lot of us would start focusing on that, to be honest. I think a lot of our greatest minds are too busy trying to make a dope rhyme or make it to the basketball court, and we're losing real talent that could be in our community. So I would like it if our culture was just our culture and not everyone's culture, but we know that our existence validates a powerful group in this country that is cultureless as hell. And because we're the source of their validation, they're always going to seek validation within our culture. So they're going to come back to us at some point, no matter what we do, until I don't know, it stops. I'll go to the next guest. Black Cabinet, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? I don't got much time, so I'm gonna try
Yeah,
and make this quick and try and
yeah, give us a
explain it.
word. Mm-hmm.
Let me get my here. Pay with this, baby. Here, get my daughter my credit card real quick, or
Mm-hmm.
my debit card to pay. But okay, so I read a lot of Lerone Bennett Jr. in The Challenge of Blackness, and
Mm-hmm.
to answer that first question, should black culture be shared with non-black people? What he says in there, he says, if you really want to talk about the philosophy of liberation, he says that we should be absorbing and integrating instead of being absorbed and integrated. So if we don't
Mm.
share a culture, then we're going to be pulled into their culture. So if we make our culture the norm, then we get to be the culture like we are now. So in other words, we should absorb and integrate instead of being absorbed and integrated, because right now they have whiteness as the golden standard. But the more we absorb and integrate, then we become the standard. So now we can actually dictate how things go in the social structure. Now, the next one, someone said, dude, make my brain hurt, man. You don't even know me. Stop. Next,
Wait, so
the
what
next
book
one.
did you say you read to come
It's
to this
it's
conclusion?
it's called The Challenge of Blackness by Lerone Bennett Jr. And this is called Beyond Either Or, because Beyond Either Or is a concept, and this comes from the institution of the Black world. And the Beyond Either Or is, he's talking about the conversation. We're beyond the either or conversation of should we integrate or should we segregate? Because people still have that conversation now, but this is in 1972, right after the defeat of Black Power. There's a big conference in 1972 that happened in Gary, Indiana, and I don't know if anybody
Mm-hmm.
knows about that conference. Gary, Indiana, everybody, all black people came to Gary, Indiana to have a big black conference. And in this conference, you had gangsters, you had conservatives, you had Democrats, you had black power, you had black revolutionaries. Everybody came and all the black people came together. There's a book, it's called The Defeat of Black Power. Wonderful book. And it talks about this. It talks about this thing about this conversation they had about having, is it time for us, do we segregate or do we integrate? And it says we're beyond that question, because there's so many of us and so much has happened that if we try to separate, we're separating because of whiteness. If we integrate, we're integrating because of whiteness. So we got to start looking at the world through a black lens and stop trying to define us by white people. You see what I'm saying? We got to define us by our own selves. So we got to absorb and integrate. And in other words, and when he says it doesn't mean tightening the circle, it means widening the circle. You know what I'm saying? So now, so that's it's a wonderful book, man. In fact, in a DM, give me your
Mm-hmm.
number. I'll snapshot you the whole chapter on on Beyond Either Or. It's probably the best chapter of the whole book, and
What chapter is it? I'm looking at the book now.
it's called Beyond Either Or. It's toward the end of the book, Beyond the Either Or, and it's talking about Beyond the Either Or conversation. And go look at
Okay.
where it starts, the philosophy of liberation.
So let me get the thesis right. The idea is that by integrating people, white people, into our culture, we become the dominant culture so that we have some type of social power.
No, our culture becomes the norm. In other
Do you
words,
not feel
when
like our culture is the norm?
it is. So that's why we need that. That's why I said we're beyond the either or. Exactly. You just said it. Our culture is the norm. So you cannot say, oh, we're not sharing that. Now I understand there's gatekeeping in certain things. Of course, come on, the barbecue and everything else. I understand what's appropriation. What I'm trying to say
Mm-hmm.
is that we are beyond the point where we sit there and say that's ours, because so much of it has been colonized or stolen. So we have to have our own things. In other words, there's something called the social structure, and then there's something called the governance structure. And when you look at Africana theory of framework, the social structure is who are other people to black people, and then when you look at the governance structures, who are black people to other black people. And so we have to have these conversations about who are black people to black people. In other words, when black people everywhere, that's the Pan African thought. When we all meet each other in the middle, who are you to me? In other words, then of course the social structure is who are other people to black people. In other words, who are white people to black people, who are Latino people to black people. But then who are black people to black people? That's the stuff that we keep ourselves. In other words, um, it's like, okay, I like this. If I call my daughter a nickname, nobody else gets to call my daughter that nickname. We could be anywhere. The nickname is a household nickname. That's just
Mm-hmm.
between us, because we know that why we gave her that nickname. Anybody else, and they call my daughter that, my daughter looks at them like, you can't call me that. You don't know me. So that's what I mean. So there's a governance structure of people that know who we are, know exactly who we are to each other. But then there's another structure of, okay, like this. My man, who do we call the mayor for life? Does anybody here know that? Who do we call the mayor for life?
A mayor for life?
The mayor for life. Who the black people the mayor for life?
Um, I don't know. Magic Johnson?
Mm-mm.
I'm playing.
First black mayor of DC.
Yeah.
Marion Barry. Marion Barry is mayor for
Okay.
life.
Yeah. I ain't
Reason
that
why? Because
old, but I know who you talking about.
Marion Barry belongs to us. Regardless, they caught him.
Yeah, I heard about that
Right.
story.
So regardless, but Marion Barry is ours. He
Uh
came
huh.
from SNCC. He's our person that we put in office. We got him up there. He's ours. That's why we call him mayor for
Yeah.
life. Anybody else is not mayor for life. But he has that. He has that. He has that with us because it's who we are. Who is he to black people? And to us, we know that he came from SNCC, the first chair of SNCC. He was always about revolutionary black people. So
Mhm.
that's what I mean. There are certain black people that we say, hey, that person's ours. You can't touch them. That's ours. And so there's certain things that are ours, but sharing our culture, you can't say we can't share our culture because the minute we do it, it gets taken. So that's why we say we should absorb and integrate instead of being absorbed and integrated. And when you read that, you'll check out what I'm saying
That's
because
what's confusing me because when you're saying absorb and integrate, right? I feel like America has never had integration. We never had integration. We've only had desegregation. They didn't integrate us into their neighborhoods. They kept us redlined. They had desegregation to where now they're allowed to come into our neighborhoods, but we never had integration to where they forced us to come together in all these systems and institutions. So, if we had integration, they would force there to be more black CEOs and things like that. We had desegregation. So, what do you mean when you say integration? You're saying we need more M&Ms in our culture, or are you
hey, I got a
saying,
phone call. I missed everything you
uh,
just said. Can you hear me?
darn, yeah. Yeah. You still getting
Can
calls?
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah. So I was
Hello?
saying, can y'all hear
Hello?
me? We hear you.
I can hear you.
Hello?
We hear you.
Hurry up, like,
It's just him having the issues. It seems like
hello?
he's probably gonna
Oh,
have to
okay.
drop and come back up or try to take that phone call.
All right. Maybe he be
Can you hear
going
me
live
now?
a lot. I hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. What did you say?
All right. So what is
No,
your
can you ask your
thing?
question again?
Yeah, what do you mean when you're saying we have to have more integration? Like, do you mean more M&Ms or vanilla ices?
Bro, you are freezing hard. You're going real slow.
I think you got to drop and come back up.
No, I'm saying on my phone, you're going real slow. Like you're
Yeah,
okay. No,
you're just gonna have to completely drop and come right back up.
all right.
Yeah, you got drop and come back up. Yeah, I don't know. He started going through problems. All right, we're gonna bring him back up. I'm gonna bring y'all back up. I see people down there waiting. I'm gonna bring y'all up in a moment.
I'm gonna drop so y'all can have people. I'll come back up if there's someone who sounds ignorant in here. I'll just come right back up.
Okay, appreciate you, sister. All right. So I was trying to get to the bottom. Appreciate you, Stella. I was trying
Am
to
I
get
back?
to the bottom of integration. Do you mean we need more vanilla ice?
No. Oh heck no. No.
Okay.
Okay, so integration is not because a couple black people move into a rich neighborhood. We know that. That's not integration. That's another
Yeah.
form of segregation. You take a
Uh
black
huh.
person to a white neighborhood, what they do, they segregate that person there, and that person now segregated from his black people. So no, there's
Mhm.
no such thing as that. Integration to have real integration, you got to integrate people into the political and also into the economical. We've never been integrated into political and economical, so integration never happened. There's no such thing as
Mhm.
when people say we're integrated, we never been integrated. To have true integration, you got to turn the whole thing upside down and and not just redistribute the wealth, but you got to redistribute the pain. So there is no such
Mhm.
thing as integrating unless you're going to redistribute some pain. Give some of them a lot of this pain and give us some of that wealth. Let us take control over how we do business, and let's see how it turns out then. So no, there's no
Mhm.
such thing as integration unless we're integrated into three things. In fact, Ron Jr. says it in the book. Three things need to be integrated into: the political, the economical, and also resources. We've been systemically held back from all the resources that America is supposed to be giving the people of America. If we have not been
Mhm.
integrated into any of those things, the integration has never happened. And integration has not happened for the black man for the black woman, and so we should at all times deny anything other than full integration. And if they're not going to give us the economical integration, if they're not going to give us the political integration, if they're not going to give us the resources, then we need to just give America the middle finger and go about our own business.
Okay. Um, that's interesting. So what do you mean by integrate our culture? Oh man,
Right.
Stella, that's crazy.
That is nice. What is that?
I
That was
don't know what
awesome.
that was. Stella sent
That
us
was
some gifts
amazing.
too. That's crazy.
But
Appreciate you, Stella.
but now when you talk about see, integration of culture and integration into America is two different things. I'm talking about we need to be able to walk around here with in other words, we already walk around unapologetically. What I'm trying to say is, but when our culture becomes the norm, then we already, and it is the norm in certain things, but I'm talking about our culture also needs to be the norm in what we call what is right, because our culture is not the norm when they talk about how, if we're loud some places, oh, you acting black. See, that's not, but our culture needs to be the norm everywhere we go. So, and in speaking the way that we are not the norm in America. Our coolness is the norm, but we're not the norm in America, and you know that, and I know that.
Right. So that plays into more of Francis Cress Welson's theory, because you know, even if our culture is the norm, there's still going to be a underlying reason to remain anti-black and to hold on to power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like our culture is the norm in the sense that, you know, someone brought up last night how country music was originally ours, and now when Beyonce goes to the CMT Awards, they act like she ain't supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, our culture becomes the norm. The culture becomes the norm. Love of black people never became the norm. Um, Blackness has even become the norm. Like, even the phenotypes have become the norm. They'll take your lips, they'll take your hips, they'll take your men and try to pretend they you. They'll take your hairstyles, everything. You know, there's white tee men walking around here doing their best Drake impression, because they got a sister on their arm. Um, Even wearing do rags is hilarious. Their hair
But
don't get wavy.
is that culture, or is that trying, is that
That's
wearing us?
culture.
No,
That's
no, no.
that.
I'm saying
Uh huh.
no. Hear what I'm saying. You just said when people getting injections in their lips, their butts, and stuff like that. That's not culture. That's just wearing us.
Mm-hmm.
That's not culture.
Mm.
So
Well,
think
I'm
about that.
saying
So
them making our beauty standard their beauty standard is culture.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
But unless that standard has blonde hair and blue eyes, it's still not the standard of what America sees as beautiful. You see what I'm
True.
saying? They wear us,
Mm-hmm.
they wear us, but yet still appropriated with their outside shell.
Mm-hmm.
So in other
Right.
words,
And
everything
but
everything we do,
mm,
everything we do because a black person's doing it is not right. But if they do it because a white person does it, now it's right. So in other words, that's not our culture. They're just wearing us.
right, but even in that, right? That's a very small aspect of the culture. You know, there's churches like even Joel Osteen, like they're singing songs our ancestors wrote. It is it I would say our culture permeates throughout society to the point where it becomes so default that black people need to be reminded that it's ours in the first place. What I'm saying though is cultural power enough to make them love us? I don't know, because that completely dismisses the Crest theory. You know what I'm saying? The Crest theory says that the reason they feel the way they feel about us is from a insecurity of a world that doesn't look like them someday. If we were to integrate, that would mean there'd be no more pure thin Libyans anymore. Everyone would be walking around here looking like Steph Curry. So or I don't know, Lonzo Ball, his children.
Well, well,
Yeah.
well. First, I'm a staunch segregationist. I'm not an integrationist. That's the first thing. A staunch. I do not believe in integration. Like I said, unless you're going to integrate us in the three ways I talked about earlier, then I'm not about integration.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Unless you're unless you're gonna flip the economic sphere and give us the wealth that we deserve, then I'm not
Mm-hmm.
about integration. Unless you're going to put us in the political powers that we need to actually protect that wealth, then no, I'm not about it. If you're not going to give us access to all the different resources, then no, I am staunch segregationist. So when I say absorb and be integrated instead of being absorbed and integrated, I'm talking about we have got to be the gatekeepers and keeping our culture ours and not letting nobody take it and now call it theirs. So absorb
Right.
and integrate it means that there has to be a price tag to use what we have. Because your next one goes into hip hop. We have allowed our culture of hip hop to be hijacked. Why? Because like the question you have up there says, does it benefit? I heard and I thought Umar's take on it was very good. But the thing is, if we're buying it, then if we're buying it and supplying it, then we're nodding it. But if our people come out and say that's not what we want to hear the uplifting. We want to hear the Brenda's got a baby. We want to hear, we want to hear the stuff about us, dear mama. We want to hear the stuff that we put out, Stetsasonic. We want to hear the stuff that we put out that uplifts us. Then we then drive the market because but if we keep on buying that trash hip hop that we're buying, that's destructive, then guess what? We already co-signed it. But if we tell the MCs that we ain't gonna accept it, that we're not gonna sell it to shows, that when you get up there to sing, all you gonna have a number of white faces out there, then they gonna have to take a second look. But if
I think I hear what you're saying. You ain't wrong. You got to remember, 70% of the market in hip hop is Thin Lipians. 70% of listeners, buyers of merchandise, concert goers is the majority of the country, not the
right,
world.
but when they walk down the street and in their videos, if we start saying we're not going to be in your videos, if we start saying we're not going to give you that street cred, if you start bringing your little Bentleys and we sit there and turn our nose to you as a people, then that's going to make them think different. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people that's going to say, "I'll do it for $1," because I come from a neighborhood that's been economically disenfranchised. So as long as they keep us disenfranchised, we'll do anything for $1, including sell our culture to people that would rather use it than share it. But
Right.
I hear
Well,
you.
I got to go by. I'm gonna share this last thing. A. Philip Randolph.
Hmm.
After he made the Brotherhood of Stephen Carr Porters, after they won and became an actual union, the Pullman Porters sent him a check. Told A. Philip Randolph, you can write any amount on this check up to $1 million. Any amount. Just take a vacation. Just leave. A. Philip Randolph took a picture of the check. He put it on his wall. He sent it back to the Pullman Porters with a note and said, Black principles aren't for sale. And we don't do that today.
Mm. Hmm.
So if we keep on selling our principles, then of course we're never going to be the powerhouse that we could be. But as long as our principles are for sale, man, you can have my grandma if I get a new Bentley. You can have my mama if I get a new this. If we keep on selling our principles, then of course that means our own culture doesn't mean enough to us. But if our culture
Yeah.
means enough to us, then we're gonna stop doing it. So my thing is, should Black people share Black culture? When our culture begins to be to us, like it might be to you, it might be to me, it might be to people in this panel. But until our culture, until people until all of our people understand the price of our culture and is ready to safeguard it, then guess what? It's up for grabs.
Mm. I hear that. We need to start treating rappers like they treat snitches. You know, that's how I think. Because when they
Exactly.
come back,
But thanks, fam.
yeah. All right, appreciate you.
No, I was like, man, thank you for having me
Peace.
on, man. I appreciate you, man. You take care.
Yes, sir. One love.
Brother
Bet,
Legend, can
brother.
I ask? I'm gonna hop off real quick. Can I ask one question real quick, and then I'll hop off?
Okay. Go
Um,
ahead.
so one thing you guys were talking about yesterday that like really resonated was, as a YT person, I can't be pro-black, but I can be anti-racist because I need to take that energy and focus on my community and how to change some of the things that we do incorrectly. I was doing some research. I saw that you guys have a Discord. I just wanted to understand that you have that knowledge center in there. Is that something that I might be able to benefit from, or is there a different knowledge center that maybe you would point me in the direction of so I can pay more attention and take that stuff back to my community?
To be honest, there's stuff in there that is beginner, intermediate, and kind of like expert level knowledge. I'll just say start at the beginning if you want to understand um a anti-racist perspective. I would say it begins there. Yeah, you could start there.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good night.
Yes, sir. All right. Somebody just brought them up, and they dropped. Oh wait, I thought was that you don't know? Was that you talking? I think that was him. All right. Am I tripping?
Yeah, that was me talking. I was gonna bounce back
Oh,
after that.
okay. The other two people that was up here dropped. All right, cool. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? What up? What up? Everybody, I don't know what happened just now. They ran off. But we back here and talking about this stuff. Might change the topic. We've been doing this topic for the past 2 days. I just wanted to I've been kind of making videos about hip hop because I see what's going on with hip hop, and I'm like, does anyone else see this? Because hip hop isn't cool anymore, like at all. Like, I don't. Is it me getting old, or is it just not cool anymore? Like, it's not cool. Like, it's not cool. I don't know. I don't know what kind of music is cool, to be honest. I don't see any. What's cool? Who's cool right now? I don't know. Does cool even matter no more? Everyone just geeks now. We're all just nerds. I don't know. Like, and even when I look back at some of the things that were considered cool, I'm just like, these people was traumatized. Crazy Black Librarian, what's good, sister?
Hey, so the hip hop benefit the black community. It did back in the late '80s and early '90s. The music back then was bringing joy, bringing awareness. This is a way. It was a way for us to have outlets. They started on the street, with rapping and stuff. Rhythm and poetry, and over time, what happened, how I saw it, I'm not an expert. Um, White people started to get into it. White people got scared and tried to ban it in the early '90s with Two Life Crew. They beat it, and then it opened the gates per se, because that's when Vanilla Ice came out, and Beastie Boys were already there. So I don't even want to talk about that. But it just seems like over time, what has happened is they colonized it. They over sexualized the women rappers because from my remembrance, MC Light did not rap and dress like that. She was one of the best rappers, their female rappers back in the day. Yo Yo, another rapper who didn't sexualize her, you know what I'm saying? So it's changed, and you've brought it to my attention and others that it's not really the artist. The artists are being told, like you had basically said, listen, you're gonna if you want to make money, you're gonna have to do this, and they give in to that. So I just feel like, hip hop is, it just seems lost to me now. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no spirit in there. There's no
Yeah.
listen to this verse, man. There's none of that. I mean, again, I'm 48, so it's a totally different, generation than what they have today, but it's also a totally different rap game than it was back then. You know what I'm saying? So I just sadly, there are some songs that have like nice tracks, but I don't have that spirit, that joy in my heart, that pride that it used to give me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, there was a lot more pride. It was a lot more rooted in Afrocentrism. Um, it was more soulful at one point. And I feel like it lost a lot of that soul. As we started to begin to appeal to other groups that have more economic power than us. And I think that started like in the 2000s. Like I remember when, you know, pants started getting skinnier and, brothers started walking around looking emo. Um,
Do you remember when Ice Cube, this was post, I believe it was post NWA, it was when he started first doing his solo act and Hammer came out. Remember Hammer? Um,
mm,
Hammer had did a signed was one of the first ones I think was Adidas with Run DMC, but um uh Hammer signed a deal I think with Pepsi, and it pissed a lot of the rap community off because they felt like he sold out. 20
mm,
years later, look at what's going on. I can't think of the song. It's on his I think his second album post NWA. Uh I can't think
yeah,
of
I
the
don't know. I
name.
wasn't listening to MC Hammer like that.
No, no, no. What I was listening to what's his Ice Cube, and when he made that album, there
uh,
were articles in our magazines that we used to have um talking about the music and the song. I remember reading the song was really about um another rap mainstream, because Ice Cube wasn't even mainstream back then
mm,
after he left NWA,
mm-hmm,
a mainstream artist. And at that time, Hammer was breaking records for his concerts. And he wasn't breaking records with concerts because the black community was going. He was breaking concerts because white people were going and breaking records, sorry. So once, and I think he even won a Grammy for Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. But once he won that Grammy, he got signed with Pepsi. And that's actually, I think, the point that where the mindset of rappers, future rappers, changed, because they then saw, okay, now we're being valued, and but with that value comes a little bit of a sellout.
mm. Lala, what's up?
What it do, gang? Hey, beautiful black people. It's a good day to be black on the Black King.
Always.
Feel me? Woke up black again today. I'm gonna run down the topics real quick because I gotta go feed my road rats and then take them to the west side because I gotta go to work in the morning. And grandma, don't wake them up early in the morning, dropping them off.
Hmm. Go ahead, talk to us.
Should black culture be shared with non-black people? Absolutely not, because everybody else respects everybody else culture, but when it come down to ours, it's a problem. So I feel like we should gatekeep that shit. Does hip-hop benefit the black community? Which the hippity hop we talking about? Are we talking about rap or we
we
talking
talking
about trap
about
rap?
we have 50 years of hip hop. We can look back on the lifespan of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
What has it done for your liberation?
So that's my question. Are we talking about like real rap, or are we talking about like trap rap?
Talking about all of it.
Cause trap rap ain't doing, like, trap rap just get us lit and keep us lit.
And real rap keeps us what?
Conscious.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When you say real,
And so how does real rap keep us conscious, please?
When we think about when I think about the rappers like Big Crit, and I think about people like on that spectrum.
I mean, I hear you. It's just like I feel like there's conscious lyrics in rap, but a lot of times it doesn't resonate unless you're already conscious. Like there's a lot of conscious rappers that no one ever hears of because you're not conscious yet. You don't
So
it
do a lot of y'all
don't
know
resonate
about Big
with you.
Crit?
But even on top of that, the consciousness in hip hop, shoot, ain't nothing compared to the consciousness of some of these lectures from these scholars. I'll tell you right now, I got way more consciousness learning about Sheikh Anta Diop and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson and Yosef Ben Yakinen and John Henry Clark than I ever got from a Ice Cube lyric or Q-Tip and Fife.
Well, I mean, David Banner is not invited back to our historical black college because of the things that he said. That he said, seen a YTA person and he went in, and now he is not invited back to Toledo College. Oh, they don't want him back. I just didn't feel like he said anything wrong, but you can look that up on your own time. I just only had a few minutes to say while I'm hiding from my kids. But yeah, stay black.
All right, you too.
Stay black. Stay black.
All right. Beautiful Lena, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hello, how are you? You want to know my age, you said?
Age, range, race, pronouns.
Okay, so I am 32, and I'm from New Orleans, so I'm like Native American, French, and white. It's my...
Well, okay. So you can only be one race unless you are like the Holy Trinity?
Native American.
All right, you Native American? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And your pronouns?
What do you mean my pronouns? As far as what? Like
she, he, they. Choose one that you'd prefer to be called.
Oh, she.
All right, talk to us.
It's kind of like, I kind of am like, yeah, no on the should black culture be shared with non-black people, and the reason why is because you have you have white cultures who are like brought up in a black culture. Like I get all the time because I guess, I don't know, I kind of get passed off as Puerto Rican a lot, but you have people all the time say, oh, you're acting black, but no, this is my culture. This is how I grew up. I grew up around majority black. You see what I mean? African American. So I have to agree to disagree. Like, I think a lot of African Americans don't even know their own culture. Like, if we dig deeper, there's history that was erased. So, like, if you really want to dig deeper into your culture,
all right, name one black king.
I don't study black history. I'm not sitting up here saying
there's kings today, but okay, cool. So you don't know black culture.
Question for the pause, because they sending them really fast. Can I ask what's white culture? Because nobody cannot come up on this panel and answer that. What's white culture? Please stop sending pause. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute.
I don't even pay attention to the comments. I'm not saying that I know black history. I'm just coming up and responding. What I do know is, though,
but you keep saying white tea culture. What is white tea culture? Because a lot of people come up here and say that, but can't answer that.
When did I say white team culture? When did that come out my mouth?
Yeah, just keep sending the pause. Just keep sending them. Just keep sending. I ain't even gonna waste it. Never mind. Just keep sending them. Oh.
Yeah, that was over before it started. Shout out to Stella. I didn't even want to hear that. That was I didn't even want to hear that. That was yeah. She was a whole bunny.
She wasn't even fun to try. I already knew after she said that it was gonna go in circles. I wasn't even fun to
do. She said she French white and then that was crazy. But all right,
I don't want to watch.
Who we got next? Derek, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Derek? Yeah, okay. He on another mission. Derek Wildstar, are you here?
Yo, what the hell? How am I on here?
I don't know how any of y'all keep coming up here and then don't know what that. Look at your phones, y'all. The fuck? Like, look at your phones. How you joining the whole panel
You
That's
can't
random as
accident.
hell.
Yeah, you can't accidentally join. Like you have to. There's like two buttons you have to push before you can request. I mean, I don't.
I don't know
It's
what's
gonna
going
be
on.
that type of the night. It's gonna be them. It's gonna be one of them.
Right. Scrappy, what's good, brother?
Yeah, what good, bro? Yeah,
What's going on?
I'm doing great in the divine state. Give thanks to the whole chat, everybody tuning in. Y'all
Yes,
just
sir.
tap up the screen, you know what I mean? Black, red, and green, tap up the screen, you know what I mean?
Please do.
So yeah, the discussion should black. Yeah, shout outs to the sisters in the chat too, you know what I mean? Lil Crazy, everybody in the chat. So should black culture be shared with non-black people? No. Does hip hop benefit the black community? A little bit. Okay. Let me go back to the first question, right? Should black culture be shared with non-black people? Okay, at the receiving end, yeah, they could receive it at the receiving end, but we
Mm,
should definitely be the ones making it, creating it, controlling it, pushing it out, marketing it in every way. And
mm,
one time I saw this video of a white dude in Africa, right? And he's the one that's doing like spiritual ceremonies and do like mixing the herb plants and blessing the people of the village, right?
mm,
And he was telling them like, yeah, well, I know the gold is somewhere here, and the sacred ancestors gonna help us get it. That's the type of shit that happen when you do that shit. When you share our culture, and when we're talking about our culture, we're talking about our tradition, spirituality, and all that shit, our talents and everything. There
mm,
was another one of them, and that's what they do. Like they do that a lot. They will go to African countries, and even in the islands, and probably in America too. They'll come and make you teach them like your sacred spirituality. Then they
mm,
they go back to their community, and they'll be like the initiators of that shit, and make money the same way. But guess what? They was using iboga. You ever heard about iboga? That's an
mm.
African
Well,
plant.
you mean the people, right?
No, the plant.
Nigerian.
There's a
Oh.
plant named iboga
Mm,
that's like it's a spiritual plant, just like ayahuasca. But that plant is very important because it could help you get rid of any type of drug addiction, crack
mm,
cocaine. But the
mm,
white tea people, some of them end up being unalived. Just like another example, there was this white tea girl that went and summoned Papa Legba, and she ended up
mm,
being. So the sacred ancestors ain't for everybody. That's what I had to say to that.
mm. That's real.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a very nuanced way to put it, man. Appreciate you. Everybody, check out Scrappy's live, man. Scrappy's one of our Pan African educators. Everybody, go follow this man right here. If you're a Pan African, especially, Scrappy does overtime teaching y'all about African history. He could have told her who an African king was. He could have told her. I don't know if you was here, Scrappy, but it was it was French Vanilla came up here earlier, and she
Yeah.
said she was she was raised in black culture, and I guess she was speaking for her. She said she agreed to disagree, which is wild because if you was raised in black culture, you know not to come up here talking like that if you not black. But okay. She said I asked her, I said, name a black king, and she couldn't name one. She couldn't
that
name.
that's sad, bro. That's an embarrassment to us. That's what happens when they teach majority of our people that we only come from chains and the melancholy side, but
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that. we come from greatness, we come from royalty, we come from emperors and empresses. Like, yo, I could even give you like so many kings. Which
Yeah,
one?
right.
Matter of
There
fact,
was even some. There was even some in South America. There was some in Brazil. You
yeah,
know. So Ganga Zumba, he was brought here. They tried to make him a slave, but he knew where he came from and still became a king of a village.
yeah. But
Yeah. So
you still have
yeah.
African kings today, like people that still maintaining African royalty, but
Hmm.
because of colonialism and all that, like at the level that they have it, it's not like before. Before they would be like more class and with all the jewelry, gold and everything, and
Hmm.
gold to us was not something materialistic. Gold was
Yeah.
something like we're talking about kings, something of royalty and also energetic. Because gold is an amplifier or magnifier of energy. If you someone that's
Hmm.
that lie, like people like earthquakes and them, that shit gold gonna make you lie even more. If you speak truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity of my heart, you gonna be in the heart of truth. Straight. Yes, sisters, empresses, you could say something to the topic. I don't want to be the only one going on and on. Yeah, but like yeah, y'all making me feel some type of way. Okay, well, if you're receptive at that level, then with pleasure, with pleasure. So, Bro Legend was talking about someone didn't know to mention just one black king. Well, we actually have black queens as well. If we go back to ancient Kemet, Hatshepsut was one of the queens, and not just not well. Let me don't use queens because we know the etymology of that word. One of the empresses back in ancient Kemet was Hatshepsut, and she was not just an empress. Like yeah, she that was her turn to rule, and she went to rule. No, she was more than an empress. She was a warrior empress. One of them that had to fight off invaders from ancient Kemet and restore the upper and lower Kemet. You had a whole host of empresses, Nefertari, Nefertiti, and most times you have like first, second, and third, like Amos. You have Amos the third, Amos the first, second, and third. You have they say Ramses the second, but Ramses is just a Greco-Roman renaming of the original Meduneta language, which is Ramesu. Now the whole word Ramesu is just three syllables of a much longer word, which is Sama Atra Septepon Raramesu Mary Amen. Now Mary Amen means that he is loved by Amen. If you Murray and Muri and Moors, all of these words come from that. So every time when we speak about our place of origins, you could be native to somewhere, but your origins as a melanin dominant race of people, not race, but species of people, we originate from Mama Africa, whether people like to accept it or not. The truth is the truth and not what you'd like it to be.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you.
Bro,
This
y'all
nice
have me
telling
feeling
y'all about,
lonely.
man.
Y'all have me feeling lonely. I feel like I'm speaking to myself the
Don't
whole.
feel lonely because I
No,
don't know
I'm
much
listening.
on that. I don't know much on
Everybody
that
learning.
topic or history, so
I
I'm
can
just
hear a
taking in
pin
knowledge
drop.
from it.
Exactly. No, I'm learning too.
Yeah, I'm taking the
Hey,
knowledge from you. I don't know much. I know I'm only stuff I know is about what I deal with in America. I don't know much about over there. So I'm just taking in the knowledge right now. I'm listening to you and I'm taking
wow,
it in and I'm learning.
man, that's the I ain't gonna lie, right? That's the first time I've came into a space with so much people receptive of the information, and like I respect bro legend like a lot, a lot. You see
Appreciate
that bro, you feel me? And I be feeling bad because he always come to my life and support my thing every time. But when he goes live, like for me, it's already 9, 10 on my side, so it's kind of late.
it. Yeah, it be late.
Yeah, most times the next day I have to go work at a do tiling as well, so I don't really get time to. But I still up pass through every time in the chats, commenting and tapping up. But
Yeah,
tonight I
appreciate
said,
you.
yo, I just had to pass through, bro, and come up on the panel straight. Feel me?
Hmm. Well, thanks for that
Yeah,
lesson, man. Now y'all see what I'm talking about. The brother got a lot of knowledge about our history. As we re-Africanize, I would say y'all should follow him and
real.
pay attention to when he go live because he's gonna teach you something about our people in a different way than I do. You know, me my specialty is culture. My specialty is culture and like modern history. You know, I know some of what he's talking about too. You know, as I'm learning more and more from him and other sources. But everybody, there's so many different areas that touch on when it comes to Pan Africanism that we can't all be experts in every area. So I would say for him, ancient history is his his specialty. You know, I done seen him debate Earth Squeaks. I don't know how many of y'all was here when Earth Cheeks came up here. Earth's Cheeks came up
He
here.
ran from me twice. He
Yeah.
ran from my platform. He ran from me again on Kroon's platform. Cause one time, listen to this. One time he said that y'all recessive. You have 9 DNA series and we have 15. Y'all are recessive. So I said, okay, how could we be recessive and you have a Scottish mama?
Oh.
You know, you know what he said to me? Your mama's a hoe. And he dropped
Ah.
that. I said, yo, you just got a free ticket to fly out running from the debate. That's what. Yeah, and I've never disrespected them, right? I've never like returned the disrespect because I'll never drop myself to that low frequency level. I've been
Yeah.
to their lives where they call me banana boats because I live in the Caribbean, right? I'm from Guadeloupe. And
Hmm.
yeah, Guadeloupe is where they found that 28 million year African woman. She didn't they
Mm.
found her without the skull and without the feet. Now me, I know something about the French colonialists, right? Even in
Mm.
France, like below the cities, they have a lot of the black black African skulls, like the skulls of our ancestors
Mm.
underneath the cities. And only they know like the types of spiritual shit they are going on to just keep our people like spiritually pacified. You feel me? Cause your head is your consciousness, and your yeah, the catacombs, right? And your feet, right? When you live, your feet direct your path or your destiny. You feel
Mm.
me? Like, so it's very symbolic.
Mm.
So I think
Mm.
that's why they do that. Because why would we find the whole rest of the skeleton petrified in the stone, but it has no head and it has no feet? Where did it go?
Wow.
Who took it? And what are you doing with it? Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, you
yeah,
know they tried to hide the mummies from Sheikh Anta Diop
yeah,
when he was testing them, for the melanin content.
yeah. Shake
Everybody
shake.
that everybody that don't know, Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, author of African Origin of Civilization, among other books. That's just the book that I read, but he's got other books as well. But he did tests on the ancient mummies of Kemet and was able to prove that they were melanated, similar to what we now call West Africans. So he was able to tie. Not only were they black, but they was like the ancient Egyptians was real black. You know what I'm saying? They was more Pop Smoke than Drake. You know what I'm saying? So
Real go fast.
you know what I'm saying? So
Real talk, real talk.
yeah.
Shikanta Diop, like he was classical, bro. Like our people, it's sad that a lot of black people that look like you and I don't try to, like, even if you don't identify with Africa, like still be open-minded to study Africa and at least study the great men and women that did what they had to do on their side so we could have it easier. It's not easy how we want it to be, but it's a lot easier right
Mm,
now for us if they didn't do what they had to do. The Shekanta Diop went against over 20 white Egyptologists,
yeah.
and it was just him and Teofilo Benga. Now Teofilo Benga, like Shekanta Diop, both of
Mm,
them are linguists, and they actually learned the Greek language. Now someone would ask, like, why would a black man go and learn Greek? Well, someone that don't think deep enough would not even fathom like why. And it makes a lot of sense, because if at one point they say that if you want to hide something from the black man, put it in a book, right? Let
mm.
alone in a book that's written in Greek. You feel where I'm coming from, bro?
Yeah.
So these two men, they weren't playing with them white tees, bro. That happened in the UNESCO symposium.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit, like when we give them receipts and tell them about like the African origins and the African greatness, like we don't just speak outside our necks. We like this. These are factual stuff that you could research and pull up. UNESCO. Everybody knows UNESCO. You feel
Mm,
me?
mm-hmm.
Just two black men going up against over 20 white scholars and Egyptologists, and
Mm,
they won that debate, bro. The first time they came, right, they told Sheikh Anta Diop and Theophil, like, you guys get two. I think they had like 200 papers worth of proof and receipts to debate these 20 whiteys. They told him, like, you have too much stuff that's you feel me. Like, you
mm-hmm.
have shutting it down. So they went back. Sheikh Anta Diop told them, like, uh I'll give you like extra time so y'all could get prepared. I'll still shorten the amount of info I'm coming with. But bro, they blew them away. But
Damn.
they like our oppressors will never highlight these things to put it on national TV and say, oh, two black men prove that ancient Kemet was black melanated civilization. And the
Mm.
melanin dosage test is something that Sheikh Anta Diop had to invent, bro. The,
Right. Yeah.
the melanin is called the melanin dosage test. It was
Mm-hmm.
invented by Sheikh Anta Diop himself. He had his whole laboratory. He's a
Mm-hmm.
real scientist. And both him and Marcus Garvey said the same thing. Like they said that we as Afrocentric people or Pan-Africanists, we have to arm ourselves with scientists up to the teeth. You feel me? Because it's only through science and advanced technology that we'll be able to conquer our oppressors. Just think about it.
Right.
Think about it, right? Transhumanism, That's real shit that our oppressors already have the technology to use against us. What you think RoboCop is about? The Terminator is about, like American Soldier is about. These are films I looked at when I was young, but these films are more relevant to today than it was for me when I was young, because that's where they're heading to. They don't want to have to be going and fighting against us with their flesh and blood. They want to be behind a screen, make a couple clones, couple transhumanist robots. So that's why we have to have the same type of technology and scientists to have our super soldiers to defend, and we be in the little cabin sending out our super robots. So you feel me? But that's not part of the
Right.
topic.
We need scholars like Sheikh Tajub that don't marry white women. That's the problem. He was turned around, married white woman, and then he's gonna put in his book that that Islam, like he speaks highly of Islam. He even
Yeah.
defends it against other Pan African scholars. And I love the man to death,
Mm.
but you know, for him,
Yeah.
you're right. We need more scientists. It's just in his personal life, he was I
Yeah,
don't know, you know.
because that's the thing that religion. That's why religion is so dangerous. Since it's so ingrained and it's psychological, because when it's like so embedded in the country and in the government, it start getting fused in the culture. That's why through colonialism, like Candomblé, for example, from Belize, I think. Candomblé, that spiritual system that's close to Yoruba and Ifa, right?
I didn't know
Yeah,
about
so you could study that Candomblé,
that.
Belize. When they like to say like, oh, we never had African presence in the Americas.
Oh yeah,
Con
yeah.
Yeah, Candomblé is just renaming, and they had to rename it to preserve it and yeah, Eric Candomblé. That's exactly how it's written. So to practice the sacred spirituality, they had to like masquerade it through religions and Christianity. So the black people at that time were like they'll pretend that they giving praises to Mary, Joseph, and young Jeezy. You feel me? But they'll be on a low key, you know what I mean, paying homage to the sacred ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you again, man. We gotta get back to the topics.
Yeah. I'm
We
a mute
switched
up.
it up. You want to answer some of these?
Me for now, I'm gonna just listen. I love listening and learning as well. So
All
I'm
right,
gonna
man. Appreciate you, family.
I share.
I'll say. Welcome to the live.
Would you like me
Everybody,
to
don't
start
forget
it
to tap the
off? The
screen.
questions.
Yeah, go ahead, little mama.
Okay, well, I'm gonna reintroduce myself. 23, black, but for the sake of this topic, I'm just gonna say biracial for the uneducated ones, okay? But I'm black and I'm proud. Anyways, she, her.
Heard that.
Can interracial relationships be problematic? Yes, it can, especially when they have kids and they are uneducated and they got uneducated people speaking inside of their ears, telling them false information. Is it a preference or a fetishization? It is a fetishization. I have heard so many YT people talk about, oh, I love black people. Oh, I appreciate black people. But when they say why they love them, it's always because their skin color.
Actually.
It's can you just mute yourself? And it's always about their skin color. It's always about the size of the things and all this, and then the appreciation. Like, what has a black person done for you to appreciate them besides steal from them? Um, Can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse? No, you cannot. Solely due to the simple fact that at the end of the day, you will never be able to experience what we experience. At the end of the day, you will never be able to sit here and say, "Oh, I sympathize," or anything along the lines.
Mm-hmm.
There's only now. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother, because I like to take knowledge. And there's only one person I would ever consider, and that's John Bear John on here. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Who?
Brother, what's his name? John.
John Brown?
No, Bear, the one that will be here on TikTok.
Big Bear John Brown?
Yeah, him.
What about him?
Where he goes on the panel and actually spread the word to the white tea people instead of John Brown. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, John Brown.
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah.
pro-black.
Huh?
That's not pro-black.
Okay. When you put it in that sense, I can understand that. I respect it. Can black and white cultures fully coexist in a healthy relationship? No. And if people been in this panel long enough, then hear the people who come up here and speak their mind on it, that's just enough said.
Mm.
That's just enough said. The people who come up here just sound so uneducated, just like the lady above me, just about started popping off saying crazy things. That's just one example right there.
Y'all
But
gotta
no.
stop doing that on my live. Why y'all keep coming up here making this Maury?
No,
She ain't say nothing yet. You gotta let her get a chance. Damn.
I mean,
All
I
right.
didn't say nothing
She
against
ain't
TikTok
said nothing yet.
algorithm. I mean, shoot. But now I'm gonna stop. This ain't Maury or Jerry. You right. I'm gonna stop. But no, that's my input.
All right. Appreciate you, little mama. Thank you for giving
Can
us
I
the
just
word.
say my little piece, brother Legend?
All right.
Can I just say my
Go ahead.
piece real quick, brother Legend?
Go
So
ahead, family.
I ran into a picture of Mimi Summer. I don't know if you know who that is. That's Donna Summer's first child. I have a picture of it in my background. I don't know if you can tell,
I
but
do see it. Let me see
her
it.
first husband was married. This is her first husband. I don't think you can see. This is her first child with her right here. I don't know if I can't show my finger here. That's her first
Mm-hmm.
child, and those are her children. That is, this is a small picture. That's her mixed child with a white man, him, that white guy right
Mm-hmm.
there, and had the children. Do you think
Mm-hmm.
those children are going to be looked at as black? Even though their grandmother is black, those children are
Mm-hmm.
going to live as white people with their black grandmother's legacy and money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I do not think in any way that interracial couples or interracial relationships can be pro black for this specific reason. The wealth gets lost and the blackness gets lost.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, you can take me down, Brother Legend. This makes
Yeah,
me nervous.
that's real. Appreciate you sharing that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, yes, I do. I figured it out. All right. Thank you for that visual. That is very interesting. Those children definitely couldn't survive the sun. We're gonna keep going. 19 Sputnik, give us your age, race, and pronouns. This person is muted. Probably gonna be like, they didn't mean to come up here. That might happen. That's happened a few times today.
He was all in, they were all in the comments.
19 Sputnik, are you here?
Yeah, I'm 45 and I'm white British and I'm a girl.
All
Is that
right.
okay?
She, he, or
No,
they? Which
my
one would you
kids,
prefer?
may I just say, oh, I don't care.
Okay.
But my kids, it's like my best friend, my son's best friend's Chinese. My daughter's
It's not.
best
It's
friend's
not. It's not a good
Pakistani.
idea to do that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, no,
Why don't
I
you
was
just
just
answer
saying,
the questions for us from top to bottom?
okay, ask me any question.
Can interracial relationships be problematic?
Of course they could be. My
All
daughter's
right.
had one already.
All right.
When he was
It's not a good
Muslim.
idea to keep going to your personal
Oh,
life.
right. Oh,
Let's
okay.
just keep
Of
it.
course they
Yeah.
could be. Of
All
course they
right.
could be.
Is it a
Um,
preference or a fetishization to prefer to be with someone outside of your race?
no, I think in my life, I just get attracted to who I'm attracted to, and I've been married 20 years.
Y'all are funny. Waiting for the
And you
pause.
talking about me doing the Mari show? They kicked her out before I could even say it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
I'm
going
just
in a
sad.
typical
I'm just
direction.
sad for her that her education system sucks because she couldn't even read the questions. She needed you to read them to her. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. They're
Now,
like
but
they're
these
like
people
young old
just
people.
play. These people just play a lot of psychology. They'll come and pretend like they bring in a contribution, but they at their homes eating popcorn. Like why would you come up? First of all, our page is an anonymous. Like you see a photo of a white couple, but there's like free videos on that shit. Her name Sputnik. Sputnik from the last time I checked was the Russian jabbings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and she wears sunscreens. From the last time I checked, the main ingredient in sunscreens is our melanin. So
Right.
don't come up with that shit.
Yeah, yeah. My son tokenizing the Chinese friends was kind of crazy. I mean,
I'm gonna drop,
y'all
brother.
don't want to come up
Got
here
you.
doing that
Don't mean to
off
rush you,
rip.
but I'm gonna drop. That was my input for the night. I gotta get off here. I got things to
All
do.
right.
But thank you for letting me up.
All right. Appreciate you, sister. Rob the God, what's going on?
Okay, can you hear me?
Barely. You sound far away.
Hold on, I'll be back.
Rob, you. I don't know what you got going on. Okay, because we can't hear him. All right, y'all. Keep tapping like, tapping like.
Yeah, so can I answer the questions?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay, can interrelationships interracial relationships be problematic? Most definitely. I'm gonna share a personal story, right? Throughout my life, I ain't gonna lie. There's been more whitey women coming to my DMs than black women, right? Now, from young, I ain't never been with no white woman. So, bro, let's shit though. I know you probably have your fingers on the your fingers on the triggers, but like me personally, if I had to be with a white woman, a white tea woman, like that shit would have been instant. But me, since I grew up, like I was born in Dominica, right there. That's the nature island of the Caribbean. It's one of them Commonwealth islands.
Yeah.
Most times people confuse it with Dominican
Dominican
Republic,
Republic.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So like I grew up with conscious music and just black history and everything. So for me, like automatically in my mind, me being I did that math quick. Like okay, if I had to be with a white woman, a white tea woman, I would not be able to speak on certain things. I'm supposed to speak on the way I'm supposed to speak on it. You feel me? Like psychologically, that will either put you on pause or just completely stop you, like deactivate you from being pro black. Like you can be pro black and be in a white relationship. Now that don't mean that the like black people that are in black mixed relationships that they cannot contribute towards black people's struggles, but you just cannot claim to be pro black.
Okay. I heard that. Honestly, people in interracial relationships, I think, are best when they're focused on anti-racism. If you're going to have proximity to privilege built on the backs of our ancestors, at least use it on itself. At least use it to dismantle uh, racism. So, if that's the best some of us can do, because I don't know how long you've been checking out the live Kron, but I'm sorry, I got stuff in the microwave. But oh man, I put it in too long. It's hot. All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how long you've been checking out the live, bro, but you'll see. Some of us can't go that far. Some of us just gotta stay anti-racist. Just be anti-racist. You know what I'm saying? Marissa, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Are you a black Swedish woman, an Asian Swedish woman, a white Swedish woman? What's your race? All right. Of course, you're from Sweden. You have no choice. Uh, they can't hear you. You gotta mute and unmute. Can y'all hear her? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear both. I can hear both of y'all.
I know, but you up here. Mute and unmute, Marissa. Yes, it's you. It's you. You have to mute and unmute. Can y'all hear her now? All right. Yeah, they hear you now. All right. So she. Oh, now they saying no. Say something. Give us. Tell us your alphabet.
Bro, legend. Hold on a while. I think that the people in the chat cannot hear her, but we that's in the panel we cannot hear her. So what she could do, drop down and come back up. Sometimes
Yeah.
TikTok does that.
Yeah. Go down. Come back
Yeah,
up.
just
Don't go
disconnect
nowhere.
and come.
Don't go nowhere. Yeah. Come back up. Come back up.
So did she? Was her answer to the first question no?
Yeah. Her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can't.
Oh no.
You can't tell a fish that water is wet, even if the water is oppressing them. And she was born in. She was raised in a fishbowl, so we already know how this is about to go. Marissa, go ahead. Give us your age, race,
No,
and
no,
pronoun.
no. Okay, hi, hi. Can people hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. So it's a preference or a fantasy, what the fuck the other word is. But my brother, he loved people from South Korea. Like, he never ever loved white people. He always, and we grew up in the same town in Sweden, but he always had
Is he
things for.
black?
No, he Russian. Yeah, I have like my family situation is not that normal. See, I'm adopted to a white family,
So,
but
Okay,
so you
okay.
I
don't think it's
also
a fetish that someone white prefers Asian people?
yeah, but like when the thing is when it comes to you know why black people like the thing is when it comes to white dudes, I prefer to be honest, now when I saw this kind of hit me. It's like, damn, it got me thinking, be like, damn, I kind of, it's like, I like vanilla. I don't like the ice cream, but it's something about vanilla. I don't know what it is. So, but can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse? What the fuck? Of course I can be motherfucking pro-black because I've lived through racism,
Don't you drop
especially
her
in
either,
Sweden.
Lisha.
Nah,
No.
don't drop her. Don't drop
No,
her.
we.
Oh,
Oh,
y'all. That's
damn.
because I got black
I
women
wanted
running the live.
I wanted to get
That's
a
because I
joke,
got black
bro.
women running. Don't be quick to hide your
Oh,
shame.
oh man, I
You
was
know how many times
salivating.
brothers done come up here and show their ass? It's okay a sister show her ass one time. She was
I
about
was
to show her ass.
I was salivating. I was. Oh man.
Yo, that shit is crazy. Oh, it's like saying I prefer
I know
spaghetti
y'all don't want to see it.
Marissa,
than
where's
green
where?
bananas. I prefer spaghetti than
Hi.
green banana. That's what it sounds like. So you like vanilla ice? You like spaghetti, sister? You ain't seen the black bananas yet.
Yeah, I have seen the thing is I've seen the black
Maybe,
the black
maybe
people up in Sweden is not the same. The black people up in Sweden is not the same as African Americans. It's different type of black people. I'm so sorry to say this, but these people are
but
fresh out of
can
boat.
I ask you, can I ask you a question, Marissa?
Yeah.
So my aunt used to be in Saint Martin, right? And she used to date this whitey dude. And I
Yeah.
was young at that time. I used to go with her certain times at his house, right? And every time he, even after coming from the showers, right? Like the whole house used to smell like wet dog. The ones you did smell like that? Like no
No, no, what the
disrespect.
fuck? No, no, what the fuck? I don't care. Like the thing is, I like white people, but I also I like
You don't
Asian
care about
people. I like poor people.
the
But no,
wet
no,
dog
no.
smell.
If you smell like
You
what the
don't.
fuck? Why you want to be with a person that smells bad?
Okay.
All right. So basically, you like everybody but black people. Those are the only people that you said you didn't like.
I was like, I
That's not
like the people
interesting.
I date. I like the people I date. But when it comes to
Those
how
are
do
the
you
only
say?
people who you express
I
disdain
said
for.
African black people. I did not say African Americans.
We're the same people.
Yeah, also, yeah. We is
So then,
yes, we
what are you
is.
talking about?
No, no, no. Listen. We is
What's
the
the
same, but
difference?
no, no, no. It is a difference. Trust
What
me.
is the difference?
Wallahi, trust me. Wallahi, on this, trust me. Come to Sweden. If you come to Sweden, I will show you. You can only see
I
if you
don't ever
see.
want to meet you in
But
Sweden.
Thank
but
you.
Ma,
you
I'm never doing that.
African
I
Marissa,
guarantee
American
you.
people are not the same
Marissa, you
because
know what you sound like?
you've had another type of history. Like you have gone through
Ma,
slavery that's shaped you people as you are now.
Okay, Marissa, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'm guessing you were adopted by two white Swedish people, right? Your parents were Swedish, they were white. What you're doing here is you are fighting for white supremacy. You are defending white supremacy. You are defending everything that caused your white parents to come and adopt you and poison you. They have poisoned you, lady. You coming up in this space talking about off the boat, they're different. All that shit that you're spewing,
Ugh,
that garbage, is all white supremacy. It's all
you are
white
disgusting.
supremacy.
She's disgusting as
she,
hell. I'm getting
she,
nauseous. I'm gonna be honest.
you know what she sound like? She sound like a white person in a half black envelope. That's what she sound like.
I was
That
saying,
envelope
she
isn't
not
even
the
black.
crazy in here eating somebody up. Like what? Whoa, fill me in.
That is disgusting. Um, I feel nauseous. All right, are we finished or are we done? I think we done, right? We got because it's when someone is this deep, this is the part where I start making jokes, and I don't want to do that to a sister. So I'm gonna let her go be Delulu by herself. That's kind of crazy. Um, my goodness, that was crazy. Well, we know that the brothers be feeling that way, so you know the sisters. It'll be some of them, but what a what a disgusting way to think of yourself. And then so not only that, but also to perpetuate the division between African Americans and Africans, and in that same like everything she said came from the white supremacist playbook. That's crazy.
I think I have a photo of what vanilla beans look like. Like G said, she probably don't know that vanilla beans is black.
Yeah,
Vanilla ice cream that you see white, it comes from a black bean.
yeah, it does. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I always wondered, but they said because when you spread it thin, that's the reason that the ice cream is still white because it's made with white milk. But yeah, vanilla itself is brown. Um, that was crazy. The brainwashing is no joke. I hear you, Jade. That was pretty crazy. That's somebody that we can't help. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody that's like off on some whole different other thing. Like, it's too much for me to even intellectually like sit here and like debunk and unpack with y'all. It's not even worth it. Al next door, give us your age, race, and pronouns. What's going on?
Hey everybody, I'm my age first 28 years old. I'm black and she her are
All
my
right, talk
pronouns.
to us.
To your questions, can interracial relationships be problematic? 100%. I think they've been problematic. They are problematic, and I've been in interracial relationships. It always feels like a fight when it comes down to racial stuff because there's a lot of dismantling of internalized racism on my part. I have to admit that because I was born and raised in Germany. There was a lot of things I had to unpack myself, like what I preferenced in men and where my preference came from. Basically, racism. We all know that. We all know the European beauty standards, what been indoctrinated in a lot of us. It is internalized racism and internalized colorism and all of it. And yeah, it can never be on the same level. Like, how can a person that doesn't have the same experience as you, that doesn't view the world from the same perspective as you, like really get you, really understand you? And is it a preference of fetishization? How do you pronounce that word?
Fetish. You would just say fetish.
Right? Is it a fetish? Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it must be fetish.
Fetishization. Oh,
Fetishization.
can I
It's so
ask you a
hard for
You
question?
me.
alone, scratch.
Never
Can I
mind.
ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So you're a spiritual being having a human experience, or an AI? Can you be both of them? Like you have to make a choice. Either you are AI or you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Which one are you?
I haven't found out yet because I personally believe that maybe we as human beings, we just like um, get to know things that are already there. I don't think that we humans invent anything. We just find out what is there. We
But your description of your own self, right, is that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, and you
yeah.
have like, or an artificial intelligence, AI. Like, do
Yes.
you know what an artificial so if you're an artificial intelligence, right, you could be a whole robot speaking to us, and we I'm just trying to know what we're speaking to.
Yeah, it's because I do believe that maybe AI is something that we all could be. Like, who can tell me that I'm not an AI right now? Who can tell me that you are not an AI right now? Like, simulation theory and stuff like that. I do believe in spirituality.
I could tell you straight, right? I'm not an artificial intelligence. I'm a divine intelligence. So it's
Yeah.
contradictory when you say that you're a spiritual being having a human experience at the same time, or I might be an artificial intelligence. Like, it don't make no sense. First of all, your profile look anonymous to me.
Hmm. Yes.
Yep.
I understand that. I get that. But can you prove to me that an AI is not a spiritual being that is just communicating to digital
Did we
means?
start talking about AIs from this topic? That
Sorry.
just moved so fast off the
Yeah, I'm
topic.
trying to figure out
Sorry.
Back
where
on the
we're at
topic.
right now.
Don't
Sorry.
nobody care about no
That's off
AIs. Can
topic.
we get back to the topic that's on the screen,
You're
please?
right. You're right. I'm sorry. Back to your questions. Can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse? No, of course not. You can be anti-racist. We already reiterated that in the last live where I met you guys for the first time. Can black and white cultures fully coexist in a healthy relationship family? That's the hardest question, I think, because as I said prior, it is in many points when it comes to like the different experiences, that white and black people have, or even like biracial people and black people have. It can be grounds for a lot of discussions and a lot of arguments, a lot of emotionality that doesn't actually need to be in a family, that makes things harder as they have to be, in my opinion. Can they coexist in a healthy relationship and family? I hope so. I hope so, because there are a lot of people that are already in a family that is like interracial, from interracial parents. They are biracial, and they still try to do the best they can with that. And I don't want to believe that people like have to give up their family to fully contribute and help the black community, you know?
But think appreciate you being myself, and I don't know what that was. That was something crazy. All right, so the family thing, we're not talking about people, we're talking about cultures. People skip over that. Also, I try to teach brothers and sisters to look at these racial categories as violent. Whiteness is inherently violent to black people. If you don't think so, prove me wrong. When has it been peaceful to us? When is the term white people, when has whiteness ever meant something good was coming? Okay, so that being the case, everyone's quiet, so I guess I'm right. So that being the case, white culture has always been violent towards black culture. It's never been a time where they peacefully were able to coexist, exchange peacefully. That's never happened. When we talk about in a family, in a healthy family, we're not talking about, oh, my mom and dad are racist and I married a black man and I don't talk to them anymore. That's not healthy for the children. That's not healthy that they have a racist grandparent that they can't see. It's not healthy when you go to Thanksgiving dinner and grandma says that your daughter's hair looks unkempt or unprofessional. And she doesn't like her unprofessional name, and the way she speaks is loud. It's just, that's unhealthy. That's going to lead to emotional damage. So, I think the nuance missing in that last question is just that black and white are two racial categories in a system of oppression. It's a caste system of oppression, not a spectrum, because a spectrum changes things, right? A spectrum makes it so the people on the left that go too pro-white are the same as the people that are real pro-black. Everybody's wrong if they're pro anything. It got to be somewhere in the middle. Like, no. That's not how that works. Race is a caste system where there is a dominant power structure at the top, dominant group at the top rather, and then there is a subordinate group at the bottom. And so we, unfortunately, as members of part of the subordinate group, do not peacefully coexist with our oppressors. And doing that, trying to mix the two during a time of your oppression is what we call Stockholm Syndrome. If a man is beating you all up in the house, oh my goodness, every day, beating. He acting like he's training to win a championship title. And you turn around, we talk to you, and we say, is this relationship problematic? While he's still doing it, and you say, no, how is it problematic? That's Stockholm Syndrome. If we say, are you peacefully able to coexist while he's still beating you up? And you're like, I gotta believe that we are capable. He has to be capable in some way. That's Stockholm Syndrome. And what this live is about is getting people about their cognitive dissonance. What's gonna free you is not gonna be comfortable to your oppressor. It's not gonna be comfortable to the people that benefit from your subjugation. That's just life. And so, there's never been a time where we'll be able to peacefully coexist as long as black and white exist in a power structure that is permeated throughout the world. Racism, white supremacy. As long as that keeps going, white and black cannot fully coexist. White and black people can coexist because we've been doing it, not peacefully, but we've been doing it. And eventually, the people that we call white and black today, when there is no longer a power structure called race, they will be able to coexist. But today, and for the past 500 years, we've been going through a genocide. So let's stop acting like it's not happening, because that's the cognitive dissonance that your oppressor has taught you need in order to survive in his game. Is that when you go to work, you need to act like nothing happened. I remember when Trayvon Martin happened. I remember when George Floyd happened. How many of y'all was talking about George Floyd with white folks? Every time you seen one, you get in the elevator, you real quiet. You have to act like even in your job, you got to act like certain things isn't happening. Breonna Taylor, you can't just bring that up at work. You see what I'm saying? That's unprofessional. So this system relies on you remaining silent and being complicit in your own genocide because you don't want to make people uncomfortable. And so that's the problem. Us black people are too used to that. So,
Question: What actually is white culture? Like, are we talking about racism in general, like the system of racism, like colonization?
yeah,
These. Okay, I get it. Thank you.
yeah. There's no other thing other than that. That's the reason that when they came together to do that, that's when they said we're white. The word European started after they came to do. Did you notice Europe is not a continent. All continents start and end with an A. Antarctica, Asia, America, they all start and end with an A. Europe is the only one that's connected geographically to another continent, but they told you it was a continent, didn't they? That started in the 1700s.
Damn.
That started after the papal edict, Manifest Destiny, told you that you were sinful because you was black and you were uncivilized, so they could take your land and enslave your ancestors. So that's when they became white. So when we talk about white culture, we're talking about the construct as a whole and people that participate in it or are complicit in it. I'm sorry if I sound loud, but I don't got my microphone. I hope y'all can hear me. I don't know. Can y'all hear me? Anyway. All right.
It's fine.
Okay. Let's go to the next guest. Renee, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
20, black, she, her.
All right. Talk to us.
Okay, so can interracial relationships be problematic? Yes. However, I just want to add a little bit more nuance. So far, when I've been in this room and been up in the chat, a lot of the conversation has focused on interrelationships between black people and white people, which fair because I do think they are the most common interracial relationship and has the most history. To add a bit of I'm black and my partner is Indian. And I find that there are some, with the anti-blackness that is in Indian culture, there are some things that that my partner has had to unlearn. However, they've been more willing to learn. They have, and they obviously they understand. They've experienced racism, and they're dark skinned, so they also experience colorism. And so there are also some things that I've had to learn in regards to their culture and bigoted like prejudiced ideas that I may have subconsciously about their culture. So there's a little bit more of a willingness to learn I find than when I dated white people, and more of and in a lot of ways we're more similar than we are alike in comparison to white partners, where a lot of elements of our culture are both our cultures, Jamaican culture and Indian culture, are very similar. Some of the values are very similar. Some of the things like
Kind of
so
hard to hear you. You sound
things
far
like
from the mic.
family values, for example, how we are very similar.
Give me a second, Renee, please. Very far from the mic, and now we just can't hear you at all.
Me?
No, not you.
Okay.
Just give us a second. Talking to the host.
Well, y'all can't hear me?
No, it's going in and out, in and out.
Yeah. Y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me now?
I hear you just fine. I don't know why. If nobody else can, I can. Lisa, can you hear me?
This is not. Oh.
We
Oh, oh, how am
see
I
us in the
low?
comments saying you're low. You sound real low on my end too.
I don't know how that's possible.
I mean, I
That's
can hear you really well, so I don't know.
that's what I'm saying.
So
Fine.
what I would say is that interrelationships with an Asian person has different problems. It's different problems, which I've compared to what I've experienced with white partners. However, I do feel like some of the differences I've had with my partner have been easier to kind of reconcile, and we've found ways to coexist in ways that I wasn't able to find a way to coexist with my white partners that I've had in the past. So there's different issues. It can still be heavily problematic, but it's different issues, and I do find that they're a bit easier to overcome. What were the other topics? Oh, okay. So is it a preference or fetishization? Okay, so I feel like a lot of people have a requirement and they call it a preference. If it is a requirement that your partner be of a certain race, I would say that, like, for the most part, I find that is in fact very much like fetishization. However, if it's a matter of you have a preference for a certain race, but you'd also be with other races, and particularly if you have a preference for your own race, then it's not going to be fetishization. However, if it's a preference for another race, it if you're also really open to other races, then it might not be fetishization. However, I would still think about that as a possibility. What was the third topic? Can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse? To me, being pro-black isn't just in relationships; it's also in supporting businesses. It's about prioritizing other black people. And I believe you can do that while being in an interracial relationship in other areas such as business, such as family, such as you know, like job opportunities and that kind of stuff. Can black and white cultures fully coexist in a healthy relationship family? No.
I'm gonna let you have it, D. D. Cause the sisters been messing up today. I don't know what's up with the sisters, man.
Okay, so you said interracial dating can be problematic or it can't. Hello, Renee.
I thought you could talk. That's all.
You say what?
I thought you was gonna talk and like say
No,
something.
no, no. I was trying to hear what you said. Can black and white
I know.
cultures coexist?
No,
And then you
not
said,
like
can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse?
She said, yeah.
yes, but I'm a bit on the fence on that one because I believe that if you're prioritizing other black people in every other area except for your dating, then technically that could still be pro-black. But I'm a bit on the fence on that one.
Who
But
do
at the
you
moment, I would say
spend
yes.
who do you spend 90% of your money, your time, and your energy on every day?
Outside of my partner, but outside of that, my family, which are mostly black, I don't do
Right.
things for my
So
partner's family. So
listen, the foundation of who you're building with ain't black. How
okay,
can you
then I was like I
build
said.
a black
I mean,
foundation? Uh-huh.
like I said, D. I was a bit on the fence on that one. So
Okay,
it
now
was a
you off
yes,
the
but I was on
fence.
the fence.
Right, so now you off the fence. It's a no.
Okay.
Is it a preference or fetishization?
Oh, you missed everything, D?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, my
I was
bad. Okay.
plugging out.
I ain't missed nothing she just said.
Well, you
Um,
found it. Look, kick it off.
all right.
I
So
okay. Well, I
I'm I'm
just a little
confused.
caveat. Just a little caveat for the preference thing. I in my experience, it's less. More. It's more often been fetishization with white people, but it hasn't been fetishization in my experience
But see,
with other non-black people.
that's what keeps getting me is like you saying like holding a hot coal in my hand feels better than putting my hand directly in the fire. And I'm like, well, why are you gonna hold coal at all if that's the case? If you're gonna say it was okay because he was able to unlearn, the anti-blackness that exists within his society. It's like, okay, cool, his culture is inherently going to see you as other and all this other stuff, like where you have to teach him to look at you like a human being, right? So you're saying it's easier than teaching a thin lip man to look at you as a human being. But it's like if looking at you as a human being was the goal in the first place, why don't you just get with somebody that look like you and is going to see you the same way they see their mother in the first place? Like,
So
I
why?
mean, I
Like,
mean,
hold on.
I
Let me
mean,
say this, brother.
I remember I've had to.
Renee has partners. Renee, so you said you're shit. You date
Okay,
both,
okay,
right?
okay. Um, n- sexually
there's a
men,
lot of stuttering going
yes, but
on right now.
romantically.
But
Okay, so for me,
uh-huh.
it's romantically, it's just other women.
Okay.
Sexually, it's men and women.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I
So
didn't mean to
no, 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 no,
put a
no, no,
gender
no.
to the person I was talking about. Your
No,
significant
no.
other, right?
It
Okay.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
I
my
was gonna
point,
say
but what I just want to point out that there are things that I've had to learn. For example, like I said,
right.
I
Mm-hmm.
for example, I've never experienced colorism, so I'm not dark skinned. They have because they're a dark skinned Indian person in a society that is heavily colorist against dark skinned people because of anti-blackness and just their history of colonization. So there are things I've had to unlearn in terms of colorism for them, and things that I've had to unlearn, and things there have been cultural blocks on my side as well, and I've also had to unlearn them as well. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just a one-sided thing. And also my preference is black women. It just so happens that I met someone and they happen to be Indian, and I love them enough that I'm willing to work through it, and they're willing and they love me enough that they're willing to work through these cultural differences and these issues on both sides. That's all it is. So I'm not saying that like all I'm saying is that in my experience, whenever I've been fetishized by a non-black partner, it's been by white people. Whenever I haven't been fetishized, it's typically been by non-black people who are Indian or Asian who have a preference for their own people. However, they, they're not
Fall head over
close.
heels in a Eurocentric idea of love called romance that was invented by a white man 200 something years ago. They just happen to be on the same page emotionally that it just overcomes everything else. And now I can prioritize my community but also be prioritizing someone outside of my community that I'm going to build a foundation with. Like, this is this is wild. Like, I hear what you're saying. I wish you the best, but that's not how the cookie crumbles for us. Their oppression is only oppression because of because of your oppression. Your oppression is what makes their oppression. The reason that they have colorism is because they don't want to look like you. It's not that they have colorism in their community because and you had to learn and
That's wrong,
unpack
actually.
that. Yeah, it is right. That is
That's
true.
wrong, actually.
There are dark skinned Indian people in India, and they were black. They laid the foundation for what we now call India. Are you
Okay,
going to tell me migration of India started from the north?
no. What I'm saying is there are other Asian culture. A lot of Asian cultures have colorism because of anti-blackness, but also because of other things outside of anti-blackness. For example, let me speak. For example, South Korea, dark skin. The colorism against
We're not
dark
talking
skin.
about South Korea. You said you had an Indian significant other.
Yes, but I've also had a South Korean partner as well. So let me just say there are other reasons other than anti-blackness, which is one of the main reasons, but it's not the only reason. For example, in South Korea, darker skinned South Koreans were considered to be poorer, and it was more about it was also the influence about being obsessed with white culture and anti-blackness came later. Originally, it was more about the fact that back in the day, the workers who were tan skin were the workers worked out in the sun, while the elite and the rich
Nah, you
and the
just believe in
wealthy.
different propaganda. You just believe in propaganda from a different place. That's the thing. You don't know about your history. You don't know about your own history. You don't know about the history
I
of
didn't.
Japan.
I
You
didn't
don't know
say.
about the
I didn't
history of
say
Japan.
Japan. I didn't say
No,
Japan.
no, I know you're not talking about Japan, but I'm telling you about Japan. See, you get to teach me things, I get to teach you things. You see how that works? All right,
But
so
also, I didn't say anti-blackness wasn't the main reason why colorism in this country existed. I'm saying there are also other reasons. For a lot of
no, there's not other reasons. There's one reason. It's just there's other propaganda. There's other things that they tell themselves because they don't want to be black. It all goes back to stemming from your oppression. What happens in India, the way that they view dark-skinned people in India, is something that is innate in their own subcultures, but it was permeated and made more to the forefront because they have also internalized a white dominant power structure because they were colonized by Britain. So in order for them to achieve greatness and power within their society, they've had to cozy up to the white power, white supremacist power construct. That being the case, their oppression is rooted, the dark skinned Indian oppression is rooted in your oppression. If you knew more about the work of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, you wouldn't be saying the stuff that you're saying. You're just believing different propaganda. Yes, even in China, dark-skinned Asian people are seen as more poor because they're in the sun more. You're not teaching me nothing new. I already know this, but the reason that they have an aversion to that darkness is because of the same reason outlined in White Man's Inheritance by Michael Bradley, where he says that the reason they have this aversion to blackness is because in colder environments, in order for them to survive, they had to remove African phenotypes so that they could get vitamin D from the sun. So they looked at black skin as something that was bad for their survival in these different climates off the African continent. So yes, anti-blackness technically started before racism. But today, the way it exists and the way that it's perpetuated in society as a power structure is rooted in a hatred for your people. And what I'm trying to say is these same things permeate even our own community. However, your chances of finding someone that can unpack this with you, that can talk things through with you, that can understand where you're coming from and look at you as a human being first, is with your community. So if that's the measure by which you're going to say these relationships are non-problematic, then why not just go all the way? That's what I'm saying is contradictory about what you're saying. You're saying you'll pick up a handful of hot coal and it's better than putting your hand in the furnace. But I'm saying, why don't you just go not pick up coal? Why don't you just, if you're going to say that this coal is better because it's cooler than the furnace, go stick your hand in a bucket of water. Like, what are you doing?
I find it interesting in these conversations too. It's just like it's this dynamic of acceptance that we do. And I think it's weird that in this conversation, like even like the preference of fetishization or trying to figure out how you can include someone that in their community, they're definitely going to exclude you. I don't know. It's detrimental to yourself, but I mean, y'all love who y'all want to love. Just don't
Anti-blackness in Indian culture is crazy. I be watching their
it's
videos. I don't
insane.
know what she talking about. Like it's like it's because of something else. Like, yo, they don't put blackface on because they making fun of poor people. They
Nope.
put blackface on with big lips. They know exactly what they doing. I don't
Asians do the
know.
same thing, and they're
That's what
both
I'm saying.
Asian, but you know.
Right. But they have to be that way because the Europeans have what they have, but to a greater extent, because the Europeans have the most recessive genes. They're literally all made of recessive. Their eyes are recessive, their hair is recessive, their skin is recessive, their teeth is recessive. Like everything about them is recessive. The Indians, they still have some of the dominant genes. The Asians, they have a yellower, they still have some of the dominant genes. Dr. Sheikh Jup talks about this in his book. This is why more of us need to learn more about world history through the African perspective and stop looking at world history through the European perspective as absolute truth. And anything that disagrees with that is just a black man talking some nonsense. It's like when you learn about world history from African scholars, you start to see that Africa might be onto something. You know, they were here first. There were your ancestors were scholars. They were smart. They did pass down their history. It is obvious through looking at, you know, anthropology and archaeology that they're not lying. That people left Africa, and then when they got into other climates, they had to survive. So they said, all right, that black stuff is going to unalive us out here. So we need to keep y'all away from us and not be having y'all children no more, so our future generations can survive. The thing is, then that happened in Europe, and that's what created this aversion to blackness. That's what she calls it, white tea genetic survival. That's what they're afraid of, is that we are a threat to their survival. It's something they've internalized from thousands of years ago to this day. But that's the thing.
Bringing it back to black.
Yeah, I heard
Two
that.
questions. What was the name of the doctor you just mentioned? Dr. Sheikh. What was it?
Sheikh Anta Jump. CHEIKH ANTA
CHEA.
DIOP, like Dior with a P at the end.
Thank you.
Renee, I have a question for you because you got your hand up. Like, what about this conversation on this topic makes you want to engage? It seems like it takes a lot out of you.
Can I quickly respond to something the host and I'll respond to you straight after?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you asked me why would I something about coal and like why did you do this to yourself when you could have blah blah blah. The thing is, I don't know. Maybe it's at the end of the day I love them, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't be dating them if they wasn't putting in the work. If they haven't been, and I can see the work they've been putting in because their attitudes have changed.
But
They
why
tell
go to someone that needs to put in the work? You're doing it again. You're doing this. You're using the same logic again. Like why if you gotta put in the why not just be with someone that don't have to put in that work, and y'all can work through anti-blackness together because they're with you on it, instead of you having to teach them how it
okay.
works and
I,
what it
I I can
is.
respond to that. In every relationship, there is going to be things that you're going to not relate to each other on, and things you're going to have to work on. So for interracial relationships, that just happens to be the main thing that you're going to have to work on. So that if I date another black person, there still might be other big problems other than race. So whatever relationship you have, there's going to be problems, and it's up to me whether I want to be with whether I want
That's
to,
true.
whether that's worth it, and I think because they're putting in the work, it's worth it. I would not be
But
dating
that's
my partner.
delusion.
I would
That's
not be
delusion,
dating.
Renee.
I would not be dating my partner if they were still showing large signs of, and the things when I met them, they weren't showing
Large
large signs of
signs. Right.
anti-blackness.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
just little things that which they'd already unlearned a lot of it by themselves. So it
But
wasn't
see,
like I
that's
was
the
coming
thing.
in
You don't
and teaching
unlearn
them straight
racism.
from the. It's not like I
It
was
don't make
coming
no
in
sense. You
from.
could find this with a black person. So that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Question. I got a
why are you?
question. Wasn't she in here last night when things got real deep into a conversation?
Oh, this
No,
is. Oh, I
I do
just
that
peeped.
already.
Okay.
I
So
thought
that's
you
no,
probably
that
did
why
wasn't
she's
that.
me.
saying all this right now, y'all. Because I
That
figured
wasn't
that that
me.
was
Yeah.
her. I just
Renee,
wasn't
No,
it
sure.
was
I was here a few days ago. That wasn't me
it was
yesterday.
the
I wasn't
other
here
day.
yesterday.
It wasn't last night, it was the day before. That's why I remembered her sexual orientation. But okay, so this is my thing. As black people, we know that we have our own issues in our community. For you to think that you can seek someone outside of your community and it's going to be easier is insane, because now you're finding someone you not only have to try to move forward with the regular things that go on in life and relationships, to also having to educate them along the way, and y'all both trying to figure stuff out about two different cultures. But understanding that no one just all of a sudden becomes not racist anymore. That's impossible. So it's this idea that no, you was like they've been working on the anti-racism or whatever. Like at the end of the day, love, listen, I don't care how much or how loud you say it, it's the same thing. You can love whoever you want to love. That's why I asked you, why did you even come up? Because it seems like it takes a lot out of you. And so either you're trying to, like, you can't tell us what's gonna work. Cause I can tell you plenty of situations where you can go ahead and put all 10 feet in and all 10 toes and surprise the person's still racist. And now you got kids that are lost and confused. At the end of the day, choose who you want, but don't keep thinking that you can make a situation pro-black when you're choosing something outside of yourself. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, then why are you pushing back on anything brother's saying then? I don't understand.
Respect. I mean, that's not what was on the panel. I mean, respectfully. I mean, because I don't got the patience like them. D and brother, they got so much more patience than me, and I so salute them. Right? I so petty. They got so much more than me. But respectfully, it did not say anything along those lines on the panel. I mean, yeah, that wasn't on the panel, man.
I can hear you, D.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but hey, brother, they're all in the comments still stating that they cannot hear any of us. I don't know if you start your live or because they're saying they can't hear any of us on this panel at all. That's probably a sign. This has been a sign. Okay, they're saying they can hear me. Can you hear D? No, they said no. That's weird. Someone said it says that you're muted, D. She doing the Holy Spirit activation song, y'all. Just feel it. Just feel it. Y'all gotta feel it. If you can't hear her, y'all just gotta feel it because
The ancestors are not pleased.
They are very upset.
All right, y'all. Well,
Then
I'm gonna take
restart.
it down. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's reset. Let's try a reset.
Okay.
I got like 30 minutes. I gotta take it down at 9. All right,
All right.
y'all.